Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to tell you a story about a day that started just like any other, but ended up changing everything. It was a Tuesday. The kind of Tuesday that feels exactly like a Monday, you know? I was at my desk at the architectural firm, staring at a blueprint that just wouldn't make sense. The coffee was lukewarm, the office air was stale with the hum of computers. And my boss, Mr. Henderson, was on his fifth lap around the department, his footsteps echoing like a metronome of impending deadlines. Just another day in paradise, right? My biggest worry was figuring out the load-bearing capacity of a wall that, frankly, I thought was ugly. Lunchtime couldn't come soon enough. I grabbed my usual sad desk salad and headed to the little park across the street just for a moment of peace. That's when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mom. "Call me. Urgent." My heart did that little lurch it does. Mom's version of urgent could be anything from a burnt casserole to a real emergency. I dialed her number, my thumb hovering over the green icon. "Hey Mom, what's up?" I tried to sound casual. Her voice on the other end was shaky. "Leo, it's about Grandpa. He left something for you." My grandpa passed away 5 years ago. He was a quiet man, a historian, always lost in old books and maps. He'd left me his antique watch and a collection of dusty novels. What else could there be? "What do you mean?" I asked, a weird feeling creeping up my spine. "It's a box," she said. "It was in the attic, hidden. It has your name on it. I just found it." The rest of the workday was a blur. My mind wasn't on blueprints or building codes. It was on a mysterious box in my mom's attic. What could he have left me that was so secret? Don't miss what happens next. Hit that subscribe button so you can be the first to see what's inside the box. That evening, I drove to my parents' house, my heart thumping against my ribs. The house smelled the same as it always did, of lavender and my dad's pipe tobacco. On the old oak dining table sat a small, dark wooden box. It wasn't locked, just sealed with a wax stamp I didn't recognize. My hands trembled as I broke the seal and lifted the lid. Inside, there was no hidden treasure, no pile of cash. Just a single, yellowed envelope. I pulled it out. My name, Leo, was written on the front in my grandfather's familiar, spidery handwriting. I unfolded the letter. It began, "My dearest Leo, if you are reading this, it means I have failed." Failed? Failed at what? The letter went on, my eyes scanning the words faster and faster. He wrote about a secret he'd carried his whole life, about a second family, a wife and a daughter he'd had before he met my grandmother, a family he lost contact with during the war. He'd spent his entire life searching for them, but never found them. My world just tilted on its axis. My quiet, gentle grandpa had a secret life, a whole other family. It felt impossible. At the bottom of the letter, there was a final line. Their last known address was a small village called Oak Haven. I believe my daughter, your aunt, may still be there. Her name is Eleanor. Beneath the letter was a faded black and white photograph of a young woman with a kind smile holding a baby. My aunt, my cousin. My first thought was, this can't be real. It had to be a mistake, a story he'd made up. I called my mom into the room and showed her the letter. The look on her face, shock, disbelief, then a flicker of something else, something like understanding. Told me it was all true. All those years my grandpa spent in his study with old maps. He wasn't just a historian. He was a man searching for a lost piece of his heart. And now he had passed that search on to me. I felt this overwhelming mix of anger and sadness. Why did he keep this secret? How could he do that to my grandmother? But underneath it all, a different feeling started to bubble up. Curiosity. A pull towards this unknown family, this piece of my own history I never knew existed. The story is just getting started, and you're not going to want to miss a single moment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. The next few days were a whirlwind. I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus on work. The name, Oak Haven, and the face in the photograph were burned into my mind. I spent hours online, searching for any trace of the village or an Eleanor who might fit the description. Oak Haven was tiny, barely a dot on the map, a few hours' drive away. There were no online records, no social media footprints. It was like a ghost town. I knew I had to go. I couldn't just leave it as a secret in a box. I told Mr. Henderson I needed to take a few personal days. He wasn't happy, but he saw the look in my eyes and just nodded. I packed a small bag, the old photograph and the letter tucked safely in my jacket pocket. As I got in the car, a thought struck me. What if I found her? What would I even say? "Hi, I'm the grandson of the man who abandoned you?" The thought made my stomach churn. The drive was surreal. The city melted away, replaced by winding country roads and ancient trees that hung over the asphalt like a canopy. With every mile, I felt like I was driving further into the past. Finally, I saw a weathered wooden sign, "Welcome to Oakhaven." The village was just as the internet had described it. A handful of stone cottages, a small church, a general store, and a pub. It was quaint, but also felt I'm stuck in time. I parked and walked into the pub, the Oak's Rest. A few old-timers looked up from their drinks as I entered. The air smelled of wood smoke and ale. I approached the bartender, an older woman with sharp, observant eyes. "Excuse me," I started, my voice feeling strangely loud. "I'm looking for someone. Her name is Eleanor. She would be in her late 70s now." The bartender wiped the counter with a cloth, her expression unreadable. "Don't know any Eleanor," she said flatly. One of the old men at the bar chuckled. "Been a long time since we had an Eleanor around here." My heart sank. Was this a dead end? Had I come all this way for nothing? "She might have lived here decades ago," I pushed, pulling out the photograph. "This is her." I held out the faded picture. The bartender glanced at it, then her eyes widened, almost imperceptibly. She looked from the photo to my face, then back to the photo. A long silence hung in the air. "That's not Eleanor," she said, her voice now softer, laced with a strange emotion. "That's Lily, and the baby. That's me." I just stood there, completely frozen. My mind was racing, trying to connect the dots. The bartender. She was the baby in the picture. My cousin? "My name is Rose," she said, her eyes welling up. "Lily was my mother. She passed away 10 years ago. She never spoke of her father. She only told me he was a soldier who never came back. My grandfather. He didn't abandon them. He thought he'd lost them in the chaos of war. All those years, they were both searching, two sides of the same broken story. Standing in that quiet pub, looking at the face of the family I never knew I had, everything clicked into place. This wasn't just my grandfather's story anymore. It was my story too. A story of loss, of secrets, and now of finding a connection I never thought was possible. So, here's my question to you. If you discovered a secret that could change your entire family history, would you follow the clues? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and being a part of this journey with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because this story is far from over. See you in the next one.